Young ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. Good evening to all of you. You are comfortably seated here on your platform, the platform for awakening consciousness. Once again, welcome and greetings from your respective positions. It's making international headlines. Two major events are marking the world on this day, April 7, 2025. It concerns the state of anger in which the American president finds himself facing Russia. Donald Trump is very, very angry with Russia. He has therefore sent a very strong message to Russia regarding what Russia has been doing lately in Ukraine. And you see, when Ukraine was doing it for itself, no one spoke. But when Russia presses the accelerator button, the machine of destruction, that's when voices start to rise. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is that Ukraine, overwhelmed by the events, has called for an emergency Security Council meeting. The UN Security Council will meet urgently at Ukraine's request on April 8th, so tomorrow, April 8th, 2025. What is the objective of this meeting? And so, in the context of this video conference, ladies and gentlemen, it is these two major global events that we will discuss. But before continuing, I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. Give it lots of likes. And above all, don't hesitate to leave your various opinions in the comments. If you don't have a particular opinion, leave a comment anyway. Hello, Samouraï. This gives more strength to the video conference. Let's dive deep, ladies and gentlemen. So, we will start with the convening of the Security Council by Ukraine. And then we will return to the message that resembles a warning Donald Trump sent to Vladimir Putin. Let's dive deep. According to official information, Ukraine is convening an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council and an extraordinary meeting of the OSCE Permanent Council. Due to the Russian strike on Kryvyi Rih, who's laughing again? No, it's yes, Kryvyi Rih, his hometown. You don't forget, since 3 days ago, Russia has struck terribly. A restaurant in Zelensky's hometown. A restaurant where there were NATO instructors and almost all the unit commanders of the Ukrainian army. They went to rest eternal. Russia is accustomed to making its strikes, and Ukrainians go to rest eternal. Now this time, what motivates Ukraine to appeal to the Security Council and also to another organization? It's because we have foreign nationalities, especially people who are part of that famous alliance called NATO. That's why Ukraine is moving in this direction. But it must also be said that certainly it's NATO that is pushing Ukraine, since NATO is not ready to tolerate Russia sending its best instructors to eternal rest. Imagine that it's the best instructors who are always sent to the hottest zones, especially when it comes to taking decisions or providing training. To face this Russian giant called Vladimir Putin, the best must be sent. So, what we learn is that the two meetings will take place on April 8th. Ukraine is calling for a decisive international response. In response to the strike on the Ukrainian city, which sent 9 children to eternal rest, according to the report established by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Zelensky says this. I don't know if it's Zelensky. No, it's the foreign minister speaking. Andrei Sybiga. Yes, Sybiga. There you go. Andrei Sybiga. There you go. So he says this. And we call to a firm condemnation. We call for a firm condemnation and decisive action. Russia must stop terrorizing Ukrainian children and civilians. respond to the American proposal for a complete ceasefire accepted by Ukraine and end the war. Here is what he says. So, they are the ones still demanding that Russia must accept the ceasefire. Yet Russia had agreed. In front of you, here it was. Ukraine again that was firing. We talked about it here. So, why do they want to put everything on Russia? So let's continue. These meetings will take place. We will have the results. And so, beyond this aspect, what is happening? American President Donald Trump sent a strong message to Vladimir Putin. Before going to this message, I ask you to share this video conference. Give it a lot of likes. Yes? The video is very sensitive. Give it a lot of likes. It gives strength to the video. So, what is happening? Donald Trump called on Russia to stop its strikes against Ukraine. He is calling on Russia to stop its strikes against Ukraine. In response, the Kremlin made a statement. Since Donald Trump pretends to have seen Ukraine firing on energy infrastructures in Russia, despite the accepted ceasefire, despite Putin ordering his army to stop firing, Ukraine had continued. We denounced that here. America said nothing. This time, Donald Trump is overwhelmed. He asked Russia to stop. So, what is the response given by the Kremlin? The Kremlin says that Putin supports the idea of a ceasefire in Ukraine. But a number of questions must first be addressed, so that Putin can obviously implement the ceasefire. So, here is a statement from Dmitry Peskov. He says this. He says that this is also related to the project of increased militarization of Kiev, among other things. So, if Russia is firing, it's because they have a project to militarize Ukraine. They have decided to send ground troops into Ukraine. We have talked about it here several times. Under the auspices of Paris and London, they want to send NATO personnel to Ukraine to, as they say, monitor the ceasefire agreement. So Russia does not want that. That's why Russia responds with weapons. So it is said, Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesperson, says all these nuances remain on the agenda. So the nuances need to be lifted. He supports the idea of a quick ceasefire. We must defend our interests and clarify the points I mentioned. Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, so they are in solidarity. Russia supports the initiative to cease fire, but there are points that need clarification. Will Ukraine be militarized? If so, they will not sign the ceasefire agreement. What will NATO do? Will the European Union lift trade sanctions on Russia? Here are a whole bunch of questions, for which Russia needs answers to decide whether to stop definitively or to continue. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that was the international news headline. Thank you for sharing it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai. Thank you.